The social problem that I chose to address is violation of fathers' rights. I chose this topic because I noticed an increase in males in my life, whether it be friends, coworkers, or family members, experiencing this issue. One of the negative implications of violating a father's rights is the impact that it has on the children. Oftentimes, in a separation, mothers are granted sole custody of the children when the father and mother are not married. This sole custody gives physical possession of the child to the mother, and in which she can then abuse that privilege by keeping the child from the father. Another negative implication is, by Rhode Island state law, child support allows 68% of a father's gross wages to be garnished. This creates an economic problem and often poverty for the parent or non-custodial parent, which there is a larger percent of fathers who are the non-custodial parents due to the law that usually grants mothers physical custody of the children. Now, the fathers are paying for two households, which oftentimes they don't have enough financing for their own living. I think this should be adjusted so that fathers can sustain their lives as well as sustain the lives of their children financially. Thirdly, another negative implication would be the psychological damage that it has on the father himself, from separation anxiety of not being with his children, and PTSD can form, which is post-traumatic stress disorder, from that trauma. Personally, I have seen many dads that are very good fathers. They love their children. They work hard, who try to establish relationships with their children and are not permitted to do so, and watch how this devastates their life. I am a single mom of 4 children, and I could not imagine what it would be like if someone took my children and did not allow me to see them. I don't think it's fair, and I also think it's very unfair that the laws and court systems do not protect any individual, whether it be male or female, who are upstanding citizens who want to develop a relationship with their children and are allowed to do so, and allow this injustice to go unrecognized and don't give them an equal opportunity. Some of the positive implications on society and to me personally, I think as a single mom and co-parenting, I have acknowledged how this makes others feel. And so I try my hardest not to be that way in co-parenting and not to restrict my children alongside their father from developing a relationship, regardless of my emotions. As long as my children are safe, no one's hurting them, I think it's fair that they are allowed to develop that relationship if they wish to. And even when they might be upset, I try to encourage that. And it's very difficult when you don't see eye to eye with someone that you have lived with, had children with, to allow that to happen. But it's about being fair. It's about being forthright. It's not about selfishness or self-serving actions. I think that this social problem in society can help us all to look at how we behave as a culture and what we tolerate as a standard, in the hopes that along the way we can correct it. Years ago, well, over a century ago, fathers were usually granted sole custody of the children because they were the head of household or the ones that earned income. And so in those times, our society decided that men were more responsible and that it was in the best interest of the children to go with their fathers. In today's world, now they have decided that it's best interest for most children to be with their mothers. But when you lean on one side or the other, male or female, mother or father, then you empower one side and take away the power from another side. And that is not what a democracy or our culture promotes or says it doesn't promote, yet we allow this to happen. If I were in a position of political power, I would suggest to resolve this problem by petitioning to change laws. In the case that both parents are equally fit to care and nurture that child and educate that child, that they have co-parenting, or what do they call it? Joint custody, legal and physical, which the definition of that is that both parents have the right to make legal choices for that child, and they physically have the right to have that child reside in their home, even though the child might reside in one home more of the time than the other, but they are allowed equal time, if they choose, with their child and all the decisions that come from that. Yeah, so that's my social problem. Violation of fathers' rights. I think more people should start speaking up about it and becoming proactive, because in all actuality, it's not about us, but it's about the generation that we're raising, and to teach them fairness and how to build good relationships and healthy relationships. And of course, not all people are fit to be parents. I truly agree with that. But for those that are, give them the opportunity to be a parent.